Welcome back to Andertons TV.
Howdy.
Dagan and I are going to do Wheel of Fortune. You've seen this before, you know the rules. Here comes the Wheel of Fortune. Ladies first.
Thanks, man. So this is for the entire rig or just parts of
The entire rig. The entire rig. Here he goes. What's he got? What's he got? Oh,
you little... So I got between no pounds and £500 to get an entire rig. I'm guessing a rig in which I would use on a daily basis.
All you have to do is beat my rig. Of course, this is a fix. Obviously, as you know, Taylor gives me the phone to, oh, come on, come on. Well, there we are.
You got the cheap one too?
I got the cheap one too. Well, yeah, that probably makes the challenge better, right?
Yes,
so there you go. Thank you, Taylor. I will leave you to go and find your £500 rig. And now, in fairness, normally speaking, when we've got a bit more money, we would try and pick amps. Mm-hmm. But actually, when there's no money, we have sort of gone, if you did want to buy an effects unit and then go straight into the DI, you could do that too.
Okay.
So just saying, that's my only advice.
Yeah, cool.
I'll see you in a bit.
A lot to choose from, so this is going to be fun. Please say this. No. No. How cool is that though? Why isn't this £150? Who doesn't love a Warlock? Right, I've never been to Andertons before. This is all new to me. So let's go for a little wander and see what rig I can put together, which will be better than Lee's for between nothing and £500. Second-hand stuff's off the cards. The worst thing about being in a guitar shop is the fact that everything's wonderful, and I know I've got a video to shoot right now, but what a bloody shop. This is brilliant. Epiphones are £500. Ugh. The Sire stuff is nice, just because it sparkles. And I hear all my friends talk about Sire all the time, but I've never actually properly sat down and played one. But they're all out of budget. Soloking.
That's you all over.
That could be an option, you know. I was just saying before that I like guitars that stand out and look a bit off-piste. Soloking could be a shout. Is it worth going up here? Always. Always? Right, so we're in the gallery now at Andertons, and I'm bound to find something for £100 in here, yeah? Right? Right? Thunders?
Before the strings, maybe.
2349. I might get a discount though, because there's some paint chipped off it, so I might get it down to, do you think? Maybe not. There's a guitar down here with lots of paint missing off it, like around one of the pickups is in backwards, so I might get some money off that, perhaps. Right, I'm drooling too much in here. Let's go and actually look for something properly. I've actually got an idea. I've got a plan. Because one of my favourite guitars of all time is the Gibson SG. And recently did these custom colours in TV yellow. That's massively out of budget. But a little while ago, Lee and the kind folk at Andertons sent me off some East Coast guitars to try out. And it just so happens that there's an SG in TV yellow. So, where is she? £159. It's a SG style guitar, GS1, East Coast. This is my pick.
Means you can spend a lot on your amp.
Yeah. I forgot about the amps. I was too busy thinking about the guitars. Right, amps. This is my choice of guitar. It's the coolest thing in the world. Where's the best place to find amps today?
Do you want digital or?
Oh, I don't know. How much is the Tonex again these days? I'm a huge fan of the Tonex. I've just brought out like a brown sound, a bunch of presets as well, which sound like instant Van Halen. Tonex could be a shout. Would you say model is the best bet? Just for the amount of stuff you can do with it? If it's an entire rig. As much as I love just plugging straight into an amplifier.
I mean, you've got like the Veilton stuff, you've got the...
Yeah, of course.
Stuff.
How much is the GP200? That's the creme de la creme. Right, so East Coast GS1 in TV yellow is £159. I'm going for the Veilton GP200. I know a lot of people have chose that in the past, but for its price, it does everything. I could get a little small amp, but then I'm just stuck with, as much as I love guitar into amp, that's one sound, and I want to beat Lee, so I'm going to put more sounds in with the GP200. That's 269. I've got £70 spare. I'm gonna get a wireless. I need to one-up them somewhere, so I'm gonna shred circles around them, literally, because I can get up and move wherever I want. So I'm gonna get a wireless. I think Behringer do the AirPlay for 59 quid. So I've got a tenner spare. Get a pint afterwards.
This is hard. Not that there aren't loads of great guitars and amps to buy with a budget of £500, but I'm trying to be different from other challenges that I've done before. I'm not trying to predict what Dagan's done. I hope he's had some fun. But what it has proven to me, and this is a good bit of advice for customers that want to shop with Andertons, the shop in Guildford, if you come to it, has got maybe about a third of the guitars and amps and pedals that we stock on our website. And the other 2/3 is at the warehouse. Now, normally all you have to do is ask one of the super friendly staff at Andertons to get you something from the warehouse, and an hour or two later, it will appear in the store. But we don't have an hour or two for this challenge, so I've just got to go with what I can find here. I'm gonna go with, I did think to myself, shall I just not have an amp at all, or shall I buy a more expensive amp and go with the cheaper guitar? But I'm gonna get the 35 watt EastCoast, because that's actually a decent sounding clean sound, and if I can find some sort of drive multi-effects thing to go with it, I think that's the way I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna have that little amplifier. That's £120 of my budget. I really need, oh man, what could I do? I could really do with a pedal that does overdrive and delay in one box. And I'm absolutely sure they exist, although I may have to sort of do some research. I'm gonna ask friendly Anderton staff, what overdrive delay pedals, but they've got to be cheap. I'm going to leave you looking for that for me whilst we go guitar shopping with a budget of probably 300 quid. Or I could risk the overdrive sound in the EastCoast amplifier. In years gone by, I'd have picked like a Sire S3. I've walked past this guitar about 50 times since it was hanging here. And I'm super intrigued. Look at the spec on that. Rosewood neck, like solid rosewood neck, one piece solid, is it one piece? Yeah, one piece rosewood neck, beautiful swamp ash body, Allen Entwistle pickups, Wilkinson bridge. I mean, is that me? Kind of me. I think I've got the shirt that matches it today as well. So that's $350, which basically only leaves me about 30 quid for pedals. Do I get a cheap drive pedal or a cheap echo pedal? Which way, Tay?
Echo.
Echo? Okay. What was that? It was like a TC one.
Gauss.
Gauss, isn't that something that you get if you drink too much port and your feet swell up? Do you know what? You don't need this. I will find a delay pedal and it will be cheap. See you later. And in the words of Nigel Tufnell, what do you call that song, Dagan?
I can't. It's my first time at Andertons. I can't be saying stuff like that. I'll never be allowed back.
Well, okay. So we had a budget of £0 to £500 to spend. We've obviously spent closer to the 500 than the 0. How did you find the challenge?
It was hard until I realised that one of my favourite guitars is the SG in TV Yellow. Love that guitar, the Gibson SG. And just so happens that you could do an affordable version of it for the EastCoast GS1 in TV Yellow, and I was like, that's great. A big fan of amps, as you know, love a good amp push and air on stage. Because this is a challenge, I tried the GP5 recently by Vailton, and I know the GP200 does lots of sounds for not a lot of money. So when it comes to challenges, I've got more sounds in this than what I can see right here. So that was my thinking.
What is cool about this? Actually, before we go on this, what is your understanding of why TV Yellow is called TV Yellow?
Because is it not the case that...
Well, no, because I think you're going to say what I think, but I read a story the other day on the internet that said that's not why. So I just want to, before I tell you what I read...
Because white guitars looked grey, and I had to make them TV Yellow and butterscotch blonde, so yellow guitars looked white on black and white television?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That it was to make a guitar, it was for television.
Yeah, and make it look bright white.
And then somebody said to me that it was... somebody commented on a video I'd said, and I've told that story, you know, the black and white TV story 1,000 times. Said it was a colour of a TV cabinet that a local cabinet maker or something was
right.
And the paint, it was something to do with the paint that Gibson had bought. They bought from this cabinet maker that was painting TV cabinets out of the. I don't know which one.
So they just called it TV.
Yeah, I think the one with the television light sounds more plausible. But look, you keyboard warriors out there, type below. Why is it called TV Yellow?
If you did read it on a YouTube comment, they are famously always correct. So I'm going with the YouTube comment guy.
All right. So look, there's a big difference between my rig and your rig in that I've spent the bulk of my money on the guitar and you've spent the bulk of your money on the sound source, on the thing. If you had, say, £1,000 or £2,000, would you stick to that sort of, generally feeling like the amp or the effects should have the bulk, or was that a choice you made very specifically because of the tight budget?
Probably because of the tight budget, and I know that would sound great, regardless of what I put into it.
You've got your volume pedal.
I know, I was going to talk about that. Yeah, the volume pedal, my favourite thing in the world. Every guitarist needs a volume pedal. You'll use it more than you ever imagine. But contradictory, well, usually I think an expensive guitar is better than an expensive amp. And a lot of people do think expensive amps are better because they sound great no matter what you put into it. But from a feel perspective, and it's the only part you're actually touching and connecting with, so it has to be good. And in some cases, you might need to spend a bit more money for that. But in this case, for 159 quid, it's my favourite shape of guitar in a colour which you never normally see, and it plays like $1,000,000.
I did see your video on your channel where you had a bunch of the East Coast guitars, and that seemed to be the one that took your fancy the most.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's like I always say, and we've spoken in the past, when I started playing guitar, beginner guitars famously weren't great. The action was super high, and you either had to choose between a guitar that looked like the one you wanted that didn't play very well, or the guitar that played well, which probably wasn't the kind of guitar your idols played. These days you can get it all for less than 500 quid.
I feel like I've been doing YouTube videos for however long it is, 10 or 15 years, and saying, of course, guitars when I was learning to play were rubbish, and you kids have never had it so good. But it almost feels like even 15 years down the line, people that started playing 15 years ago are still saying guitars that I have were. I mean, I do. I think over lunch or whatever, we were sort of saying, 99 quid. What is that under UK minimum wage?
Yeah.
It's now 6 or 7 hours worth of wages to buy a really good entry level guitar. Whereas, I can think back to, when I first started working, an entry level guitar was probably a week's wages.
Yeah.
It's
buyer's choice now as well, because there's so many different options and variations of styles of, say, East Coast available.
When I was a kid and I earned 3 shillings and 6pence a week, I don't know why I decided to do that. I've suddenly realised my offensive northern accent.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, your Geordie accent needs to come along.
I didn't go Geordie. Well, look, I think. Now, obviously, we just took a GP200 out of the box. I'd said my GP200 in the office. I really like preset 1. And then a couple of the other presets that I go to are ones that I've kind of tweaked. Obviously, these are just all out the box. But let's have a little listen to maybe just fly through the first.
Can I quickly just mention something?
Yes, please do.
One of the most important parts of my rig, which I haven't got right now. Got the guitar and the GP200. I had a little bit left of that, about 70 quid left to spare. And as we spoke about prior, I don't like being tethered.
You don't?
I don't at all. I don't like being chained down. I always use a wireless, either to record videos or in studio sessions and stuff. And some people will say it doesn't sound that great, but when you can wander around with the guitar, it's just brilliant. So I got the AirPlay, the Behringer AirPlay.
It's never. Is that less than 70 quid?
It's 50 quid. 49.99 for a wireless system. But it doesn't come charged. So
no good if
hence
you've
the
got
cable.
a gig. Like no good if you've bought the wireless and not charged it
Yeah.
up before you get to the gig.
Yeah, I'm sure there is a quick charge on it, like plug it in for
That's
30
my-
minutes and you get stuff, but that's why I'm
With
not
the
using
exception of my iPhone, which I kind of charge up every night religiously. It's like part of the bedtime routine, so I know I've got full charge the next day. I can't, as a guitar player, bring myself to own anything rechargeable because I just know at the critical moment I'll go like, shit, I never charged it up, you know. So like I can't use Fishman pickups or anything. I just have this.
I totally get
block.
that, but because
I
it's
need
such
power.
because it's such a huge part of why I enjoy playing guitar. You charge your phone because you don't want to be tethered to the wall with the phone. That's not an inconvenience to me. So for me, it's the same thing,
remember to do
but
it,
with
right?
this, it's just kind of become part of the routine of gigging and stuff. But yeah, you've got to keep them charged and.
So you did 500 quid. That's a good going actually. It's a good
And I've
looking
got a
guitar.
tenner spare.
You've got 10 spare. So it's first round
I'll
on
take
you
it for a
then.
pint. Exactly what I said.
Come on, let's hear
Yes.
let's hear a few sounds of that because I know number one is a good sound.
Yeah, the
isn't
same as the GP5. It's GP200. The first preset, man. Can I have a little tune first? Is that
But
okay?
why not demonstrate the tuner?
Tuner is wonderful on this.
Do you know what? I don't have a tuner within my budget, so I will be in your band and tune from your tuner.
Of course, it's got the control as well.
If I came to a show and the opening song was the lead guitar player, big PA, that coming out, I was like, this is going to be a good show.
Yeah, if you can get something which puts a smile on your face,
Yeah.
as soon as you play it, no matter what the price, whether it be affordable
Yeah.
or you don't want to be a tone snob and just get expensive
Yeah.
stuff to put a smile on your face, because this is ridiculous.
As a GP200 owner of years now instead of months, everything is excessive reverb and delay, which is like super fun.
noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, like super fun, like when you first get it out of the box, but very much just you have to get in and just dial some of that back for it to be sort of, you know, usable. But I know the first patch is my favorite, and then on my GP200 I've edited up some other ones. But we'll have a quick listen to some other ones. You never know what you
there's
got
even
there.
a looper on the top as well. I didn't realize
There is a looper.
Is there a... £260. That's ridiculous. Right, what else have we got?
I'm trying to think what ones I liked now. There were Love of God is Vai.
Love of God.
They're all just, I mean, you just got to find ones that you sort of in the ballpark like and then tweak them up.
That's flicking through like 8 presets there, and there's already great
Yeah.
sounds.
Again, there's one of the things that I did with mine is there's a global EQ. So if you've got, obviously, some people might be running through headphones, some people through an amp, some people through computer speakers. They could be big, they could be small. So it's really important. Again, one of the first things I did was just tweak the global EQ to suit the speakers I was going to play it through, and then that applies to every single patch. And it's just a nice way of getting rid of unwanted excessive bass end or whatever you want like that. So.
And with that as well, I had a little fiddle through the global stuff before. They've made it so easy to use. Like guitar, I'm a simple guitar player.
Yeah.
I like things to look like an amp and react like an amp. So the signal chain is great, and just to find everything you need is just super easy. Sorry, there's an acoustic simulator. I'm just going to sit and demo this pedal for a bit. Can't go wrong with that.
I think it's just a lot of stuff. I don't know why I'm saying how good your rig is. I'm supposed to be winning this
Sorry,
challenge
yes.
here, aren't I?
So that's me, pretty much. Minus the uncharged wireless.
Yes.
EastCoast GS1 and the GP.
Good choice. Good choice. So mine, I went the opposite, which...
I was going to choose it.
Well, really?
I had it in my hands like
That's
for
weird,
a
isn't
long
it?
because I'd never seen one before and it just looked so cool and for the price it was daft.
So I would not, if you gave me £1,000, I would absolutely spend £600 or £700 on the guitar amplifier and find, because I'm a big believer that actually the amp is what people hear, a bit like people hear the
course,
GP200,
yeah.
So, and I'd like a good amp with a couple of good pedals. So actually I've gone completely against what I would normally pick here, but I think I'm just so bored of picking the Boss Katana or the Laney Foundry in these kind of, you need a £250 amplifier.
Yeah.
I went, what if I just went really cheap? So like this is 120 quid and it's like an oversized practice amplifier and you know, its clean sound is pretty good. Actually, I've got some delay on here. And of course, I do have the advantage that if I said, right, do you want to come round for a jam? I can make some noise. You can bring your GP200 around and go, right, what do I plug into? And if I haven't got anything to plug into, you can't make a noise. So I can make a bit of noise. I've blown my mind here. I've grabbed a delay pedal and I'm like, I put it through the front end of this because I just assume it doesn't have an effects loop, right? And then I put the distortion on and all of a sudden you go, oh, the delay's not quite the right setting. And I look on the back of the amplifier, it has an effects loop. So it's quite a pro feature for a cheap amplifier. So I've got a TC Profit delay pedal, so I'm getting that and I'm just... And I've spent, with the pedal and the amp, about £150, something like that.
Oh, wow.
So it's all pretty affordable.
It's got a lot of poke as well.
Yeah, so this is 35 watts. So it's probably disingenuous to say that I could go and gig with this. But 100%, if I was back at school or I had a buddy and they had a drum kit and it was just like, do you want to dive around and we're set up in a spare room in a house or whatever like that, this will be fine.
Yeah.
And I think I did my first ever school gig of like with the whole thing like on maximum volume, so it probably didn't sound amazing on like a Marshall 15 watt amp. So they're surprisingly pokey if you decide to make them really angry sounding.
I mean, there's no clipping on that at all, and you're absolutely blasting the clean.
What am I on? I'm on 8, so it's not going to go a lot louder. We're getting 95 dB on the decibel meter. Like I said, I don't think I could gig it, but it's not bad. What I think I did the opening jam on was I did taking a leaf out of your book. I had it always on the drive channel and I was just playing soft, and so.
With the delay, that does sound good, you know.
And then if I turn the volume up and I go to the humbucker.
That sounds legit right there.
And I was telling Dagan the story again about, everyone will know we've done loads of videos about EastCoast and how it's, if you talk to the factory that makes the stuff, you can do tweaks and stuff. And I remember the first sample set of the EastCoast range had that very typical wasp in a jam jar kind of overdrive sound. And it was literally and obviously I'm writing in English and then the factory's in China, you know, so it's not their native language. And I'm sort of trying to explain, you know, it's bad enough trying to explain to someone that does speak English how you think a distortion sound needs to be.
The guitarist or the words, open it up.
Yeah,
like,
could it be more organic and, you know, all that kind of rubbish. But I did my best to sort of try and explain. I think I might have even done like a video clip of a distortion sound I did like, or I genuinely, it was about 5 years ago and I can't remember exactly. And fair play, the factory just sort of went, oh, let's see. And they sent through like a revised set of samples and I plugged it in. That's
Does the
pretty
job,
much
yeah.
kind of the sound I was hoping we'd get. And yeah, so there is in this range, there is a really small, like 10 watt no reverb, which probably is still the angriest sounding one.
Yeah.
But the 15 watt with reverb and the 35 watt with reverb, which is this one, have both got the same preamp. So they both do
Okay.
that kind
Yeah.
of quite nice sounding distortion in it, which I don't. And a bit of delay. I've realised I haven't talked about the guitar at all yet, have I?
No, and it's wonderful, to be fair.
Another, you know, amazing little find by the guitar team at Andertons. This is a brand called Soloking that again, they're super affordable guitars, but like all up spec. So
It looks boutique.
yeah, this is the only one that they do that's a relatively original style. Most of the rest are like a super Strat style guitar. But I mean, I don't know where else you find solid rosewood neck. So it's rosewood fretboard, rosewood neck with the skunk stripe down the back where the truss rod's gone in. Swamp ash body, Allen Entwistle pickups, a wooden recessed scratch plate, so it's got a really cool vibe. Wilkinson hardware.
And it all looks finished really well for the
Yeah,
price.
I mean
like,
it's nice to play, and they're like this is probably the dearest Soloking guitar we do. So they do, you know, most of the rest of the range sits between the sort of £200 and £300 range. But this is a £350 guitar. You've got a coil split on the humbucker,
nice.
a couple of different colours this comes in. I mean, like I say, I don't know how I would feel like if this was generally right. Let's go do the gig. I don't know necessarily. I think I've probably more enjoyed just the challenge side of trying to put something together for 500 quid rather than going, yeah, let's go and gig. But I sort of almost feel like you kind of could.
When there's air moving, that does lend itself quite a bit to being high on the upper end of winning the competition, I will say. Like when you hear air moving in a room with a guitar, whether it be an affordable amp or an expensive amp, it just makes guitar players smile. This is wonderful, it sounds amazing, but yeah, when the air's moving.
That I still think that very first patch one where you played that heavy stereo, you know, big overdriven, and you could hear it. In my head, I could see that on like all the lights and everything.
So good. I'll take back what I was saying before. I win again. It's beautiful.
You know what? It only matters who you think won. So which would you do? Would you go around my avenue or Dagan's road there? So look, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, Dagan's been here all day. I'm really hoping that you'll have seen at least a couple of the videos that we've done with Dagan and that you'll have liked enough to feel like you want to go and subscribe to his channel as well, which you can find a link below on. Excellent. But for now, until next time,
thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
I shall see you soon. Thank you for watching.
Cheers, guys.
Goodbye.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I've said that about Dagan's channel more than their own. There we are.
I very much appreciate it.